Hey everyone, welcome to the 101 Digital Digest. This is a new segment that we'll be doing where we talk with someone in the industry about some news topic that's out there right now. And I'm Craig Meyer, the CEO of 101 Digital, here with Joe Yetto from Cyberstone. They provide cybersecurity services for us and some of our customers. So, want to talk through this article that essentially is talking about how Twitter accounts that aren't paying for Twitter Blue, they're going to lose the ability to essentially use SMS as their two-factor, right?
Right.
And we kind of talked about this a little bit off screen, but kind of wanted to see what Joe thought of this, just in the sense that, as it says right here, Twitter has ended free two-factor authentication via text message. So, kind of first typical reaction would be, are they making it less secure?
Right.
But,
Yeah.
kind of want to talk through, your take of it, and, maybe we can all pull out some other parts of it, but, kind of what's your first impression of it?
Yeah. So as I read the article, you're right. The tone has this alarming attribute to it. Oh my God, are they making the platform less secure? And then take a step back and you think about the purpose of a security control in the first place, like two-factor authentication. And any security control is meant to protect the confidentiality, integrity, or availability of important information. So what is it, if you reflect on, I'm not a Twitter user, but those of you that are, what is it within your Twitter account that is important, worth protecting, right? And so I would assume that there are a portion of the population of Twitter users that would come back with a compelling answer. Like you had
Definitely.
said, right? Those that are using it for promotional
Yeah,
purposes,
business
right,
purposes, advertising, it's, part of their brand. So,
right, right. So it becomes a significant tool for them, and in those cases, yeah, it's worth probably. But as I read this article that you shared with me, it was interesting that only 2 to 3% of the users that
yeah,
use Twitter
2.6%.
actually signed up for this service in the first place, right?
Yeah.
So I think that that's interesting. But the important thing is that there's alternatives. So if this is a control that was important and you felt like it was providing some type of security, protecting a legitimate asset, right? And for those of you that are using Twitter in that capacity, there's other things that you can do to still have multi-factor authentication.
Yeah, I think, as they say kind of in this part, you know, you can still use things like Authy, Google's 2FA. Microsoft has an option as well. And to be honest, my kind of take on it is that in a way they're kind of introducing a more secure method of two factor, right? We kind of talked again about this off screen, but SMS, hijacking, I guess, is obviously a very difficult thing to do. But it's, I think, I'll actually ask your opinion on this. Like, would you say it's probably more difficult to hack something like, say, Google two factor, or Authy or Microsoft, but with SMS, there's a potential chance for it, right?
Yeah, so compromising two-factor authentication, if you look at the different types of two-factor authentication available to us, you mentioned a few already, like SMS. That's where I get the code through a text message. The Google Authenticator, that's an app that I have on my phone. So they both provide that two-factor authentication, but different mechanisms. SMS has been compromised in the past, and the attack vector is pretty creative, but it's also not the easiest thing in the world to pull off.
Yeah.
And the threat actor would have to be really determined, right? So if you think about what it would take, it's actually an action where they would um, first of all do some reconnaissance. And let's say that I was trying to compromise your Twitter account, Craig, that was protected by SMS multi-factor authentication. So I'm the determined hacker. I want to gain access to the Twitter account and do whatever it is that I would do. Probably try to monetize my efforts somehow. I'd have to know your username and password. So that's number one. Okay. Assuming that I have that information, then I would have to understand what's your cell phone number and who's the carrier. So cell phone number, probably easy to find out, and then I'd have to figure it out. Is it Verizon? Is it AT&T? this is where it starts to get a little complicated, right? I now have to call into that carrier, socially engineer the person on the other line, and convince them that I'm you and that I've gotten a new phone and I need to transfer that number to my new SIM card. And if I'm successful, right, then all of a sudden your text messages start flowing to my phone. So now I can go to Twitter, I can log in using the username and password that I already know, but I had to find out somehow. And when it sends the two-factor SMS, it'll come to my phone instead of yours.
Yep.
So that's a somewhat, it's not sophisticated in the sense that it's a very low level technically, speaking, attack to pull off, but somebody that's persistent. I mean, you think about what you have to go through in order to accomplish that.
A lot of
right?
hoops to jump through there.
Right.
So
Right. So your everyday Twitter user, I do not think would be a target for that type of attack because again, what's the value at stake? What am I going to get if I pull off that attack?
yeah, and I think the last thing kind of to touch on here is Elon Musk actually saying that it costs money for them obviously to send those text messages. So
Sure.
it really isn't again about making it less secure, right? It's more so that the other methods are can be argued that are more
They're
secure
better.
and they're free.
They're
So
free too.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It was a business decision.
that's what it seems like.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think this is kind of just a good article for us to kind of start with and go through. And again, Joe being a cybersecurity expert and just kind of instead of just looking this as a typical just throw the article out there and try to drum up some reaction to it, right? Of oh no, like something bad's happening here. Going through it and actually talking about the security things and why they're potentially doing this, right? Again, it may be a little bit of business sense, but there's also kind of a added benefit to security, and hopefully now kind of hearing this from both of us, everyone will see that this is actually a good thing from a security perspective. So really appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next one.